Here we go. Hello, musicians. Now, one of the things we are always trying to do as musicians is add motion to our playing, add motion to our chords, instead of just playing block chords, like playing everything at the same time. The famed jazz saxophonist Coleman Hawkins once said, "I don't play chords, I play movements." And that was echoed by Barry Harris, who was a famed jazz educator and pianist, and as some of y'all know, is one of the biggest influences on my playing. And so I want to give you one technique to add flavor, color, movement, and chords to your playing. So let's not waste any time. Let's get started. So let me give you the secret first, and then we're going to break it down using the what, when, where, why, and how teaching framework. The idea is we're going to use a simple progression: suspended chord to dominant seventh chord. So first, what is a suspended chord? Simply put, you take a major chord or a dominant chord and you remove the third. So let's take G. Here's G, major. And what we're going to do is remove the third and replace it with the second or fourth. If I replace it with the second, G sus2. And if I replace it with the 4, G sus4. The same is true for dominant chords. So let's make the G major the G dominant 7, yes? And so if I remove the third is 1, 2, 3, it's the B, and replace it with the 2, I get G7 sus2. And if I remove the third and replace it with the 4, I get G7 sus4. So the whole point, the whole big idea of a suspended chord is this third being removed from the chord and replaced with the 4 or the 2. And interesting enough, I can add other extensions. So let's see. Here's my G7 sus4. I'm gonna add the flat 9 in here. It works. Or I'll add the flat 13 alongside. Right? So we can add extensions, but the main point of it is that this third has been replaced with the 4 or 2. The 4 is the most common one. And so you know the sound. So I told you it's a progression. So we're going to go from a suspended chord to a dominant chord. So I just showed you what a suspended chord is. And then a dominant chord is just a major chord with the 7th on there. So we're going to go from a suspended chord to a dominant chord. Do you see? Okay. Now, why? Music is about tension and release, ebbs and flows. And so adding more of that to our playing creates more color, creates more interesting sounds, and new possibilities. Where? Anywhere you see a dominant chord, you can use this technique. So when should you do this? Well, this is to taste, meaning your preference. But I would suggest initially you do it everywhere, so you learn what resonates with you, meaning what you like, your sound, and what doesn't resonate. And then start tailoring it, so you then don't do it everywhere. Just start doing it in the places that you really like. How? So what I do is I look for a dominant chord. And then whenever that dominant chord is, I'll replace that with a suspended chord followed by a dominant chord. So in essence, I'm replacing one chord with 2 chords, going back to our I don't play chords, I play movement idea. Let me show you how this is done. Let's take a simple song like You Are Great. I'm going to do it in the key of E flat. And this song goes, and I just focus on the front part of the song. I won't do the whole song, front part. So, you are great, you do miracles so great. There is none else like you. All right, so let's start applying this technique. So let's take the song. You are great, you do miracles. Here's our first. Here's our G7. And I've added two color tones in here. I've added the flat 9 and sharp 5 because the melody is on the sharp 5, and then I added this flat 9. So now we want to take this chord, and instead of playing this one, we're going to first play a suspended chord and then play the dominant chord. So here's the chord we were playing, and so here's the third. So G7. Here's the third. I'm going to replace it with the 4. So there we go. And then replace it with the dominant. And I can do this one hand, or I might put the C in my left hand. And then I think the song goes, you are great, you do miracles, so the melody falls down to D. So I go sus, then dominant. Alright. So again, you are great, you do miracles. So now replace one chord with two chords. So let me demonstrate it for you in time. You see the difference? Let me go back and do it again. Let's find some more spots. Okay, so you are great, you do miracles so great. Here's another one. There is no one else. So there's no, on this E flat, here's E flat 7. So I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna make it sus first. So here's the third. I'll replace it with the 4. So and then resolve it. Add emotion. I might add some other color tones. Let's add the 9 and the 13. And then I might resolve it to something a little more colorful. There we go. That's our dominant chord. I just added a few colors in there. The 13th and the sharp 11. And then we resolve to our A flat. Okay? So let's do that in context and see what happens. Now, one of the things we like to do as gospel musicians is add chords in there. So insert passing chords. So let's see. I'm going to insert a couple chords, and we're going to do the same technique. So let's see. You are great. And next we go to D. So, but right there, on this E flat, right after the E flat, before the D minor 7 flat 5, I'm going to insert a chord. I'm going to insert the 5 of D, which is A7. Right? This is a common one. In gospel musicians, we love to play as like a sharp 9, sharp 5 sound. So now we have our dominant chord here. But we're going to do the same technique. So I have a dominant chord here. I'm going to replace it with the suspended chord and then a dominant chord. And I'm going to adhere to the melody. What is the melody at this point? You're great, you do mirror. So I'll make that my melody. All right, so I'm going to replace the A 7 sharp 9 sharp 5 with the suspended chord. So I'm going to take the third and put it forward. But that happens to be the melody at that point. So I'm going to put it on the top. So let's see, here's 1 5 7. I'll add the 9 in there. But, all right. And then I have to go to the dominant chord next. So I'll put the third down on the left hand. And I'll make the D go to the melody because the melody goes. So I add the flat 9. So this becomes a flat 5, this is the flat 9. So there you go. So I have. Ooh. Yeah. So let's do it in time to hear how it sounds. And then, you know what, let's find one more spot. Let's find one more. So we have, you are great, in America, so great. Right here, so on the C minor, we can proceed this B flat minor by its 5, which would be F7, right? So let's see. You are great, you do miracles so great. We're used to that sound, right? So there's the F7 there. I'm putting it there. So now I'm going to replace it with my 2 chords, my suspended chord, and then my dominant chord. Yeah. So our suspended chord. So here's our dominant chord. So make sure you got it. Our suspended chord, we're going to take the third out, put the 4. But at that moment, the melody, I believe, is D. So I'm going to put the melody on top. So this E flat that I currently have on top, I'm going to put it in my left hand. I'm going to put the melody on top. And I'm going to add, I have an F in the root, so I don't need the F here. I'm going to add the 9. I'll take the 5 out, put it in my left hand. So there you go. Then maybe on the dominant chord now, I might do like a flat 9 or flat 9, flat 5. Yeah. Okay, so let's hear how that sounds in context. So let's take another round. Here we go. So I hope you can see just how powerful this technique is to add more color, add more flavor, add more chords, add more movement to your playing. Now, if you are a musician and you are needing some help, you are stuck, you're frustrated with your playing, you know you can be better, but you don't know what to do or how to get there, I would love to talk with you and see how I can help you achieve your goals. So in the description box, I have a link to a free 15-minute video call with me. So use that link, set up a call with me, and let's get started. So if you like this video, you will definitely like this one right over here. So definitely give that one a look. All right, so until the next one, be blessed and happy practicing.